Good day to all. Welcome to Extreme Recap. A coroner examines corpses at a mortuary at the beginning of the film, and while he is going through the bodies, he finds a male body with a torn spine. The coroner turns out to be very scared, as he has never seen a body in such a state. As a result, he comes to the conclusion that the body may have been affected by something unnatural. The story shifts to Andrei Valentinovich, a university professor who and his family are moving from a bustling city to a quiet small town. He portrays the town as beguiling and quiet, which will permit him to loosen up as they drive past a lake. They are unaware that a body is near the shore. They eventually arrive at their new residence without incident. Andrea goes to a school for a job interview the following day. The school principal, Tamara Joseph, has her doubts about hiring someone who has taught at a university. However, she is relieved to have met him. What's more, presumes that he is an optimal possibility for the position. Tamara recommends that Andre become the head of grade 5. However, he initially hesitates to accept the position due to his lack of prior school teaching experience. Andrea reluctantly agrees to accept the job, but Tamara persists. In addition, Tamara suggests that Andre's daughter enroll in the school so that he can closely monitor her. Upon their return home, Andre invests energy with his better half, Laura, and little girl Nastenka, when he informs the young girl that he will be teaching her class. Andrea is greeted at school the following day by a student named Yulanka Marvskaya. She expresses her eagerness to study under him and presents him with flowers. Eugene's mother Anna had sent the roses and seems, by all accounts, to be focused on Andre at the school gathering. The principal addresses the students in a motivational speech and praises the school's virtues and rules. In the school setting. Except for you, Lanka, the other students are delighted to meet Nastenka when the principal introduces her to them. Who seems irritated after the principal left. When Andrea takes attendance, she calls a girl by the name of Seneca by name, but no one responds. Lenka, you inform him that the Sonnet's cup has passed away and that he will not be attending school again. After the class, Andrea speaks with his chauffeur, Sarajo, who knows a lot about the deceased school and town. Studios, which reveals that Sonichu jumped from a window to end her life. Her mother had tried to look into her daughter's death and say that the teachers were to blame. Sergio warns Andrea that the nephew's death may have been caused by something terrible going on in the class. After the conversation is over, Alenka watches them in class the following day from the school window as Andrea returns home with his daughter. Andre observes a gathering of 3 young ladies attacking one of his understudies, Luba, on the balcony. He rushes to assist after leaving class. But before he can catch the bullies, they run away. Andrea asks Leova to explain what happened so he can take the appropriate action when he discovers her cleaning her bloody nose in the bathroom. The little girl, however, is hopeless and refuses to talk to him about anything. Andrea is baffled by this and goes to get his little girl from the feasting corridor prior to heading home. Nastenka, on the other hand, envies her friends who live in the hostel despite having to stay at home with her parents. Andrea starts to be scared by the girl's strange behavior during the day. Additionally, he is concerned about school activities at night. Additionally, he begins to have nightmares in which a girl commits suicide. During the evening, Andre talks to Nastenka, who is still awake, and tells her that children shouldn't be categorized as good or bad. Because they don't do anything wrong. Andrea teaches his students about love and responsibility the following day at school. Everyone, but you alone. Lanka is keen on his illustration, as she beats love down. After the mission, Lanka requests Nastenka's assistance in taking her to the theater, and Andre grants her permission to go. Following this, as he examines each notebook one at a time, in Spedlana's notebook, he discovers a shocking message that reads, "Save us." He eventually decides not to inform her about the situation when he encounters the principal. After the school chime rings, Andrea gets some information about the note, however she denies leaving it there. Perplexed by her way of behaving, Andrea trusts in his driver, Sergio's, about his interests that something unusual is occurring in the class and that the understudies are leaving well enough alone connected with Sonic. Cause demise. In the following scene, Andre returns home and finds Lyra having an asthma assault. He comforts her. And shortly thereafter, Nastenka returns home with Lanka, and Anna, her mother. They accept Andre's request to join him for tea. Laura is chatting with her mother while Lincoln debates love and happiness with Andrea. In another location, the coroner visits the morgue to examine a different body. Additionally, it has been established that an overdose of potent anesthetic sleeping pills was the cause of death. Andre begins his investigation in the interim. Senature's demise by reading every article in the newspaper that is related to it. He learns that Julia is Senechka's mother. After her death, developed mental illness and has been receiving care at a mental health facility. In order to determine the cause of Sonachu's death, Andrea decides to visit her. But when he finally comes face to face with her, she gets so agitated that the helpers have to take her away by force. Later in the evening, Andrea wakes up screaming after having yet another terrifying dream about Sonachu. Lyra comforts him by suggesting that they return to their previous city when he explains his concerns. However, this thought causes him to scream at her. The following day Andrea shows up in class and notification that somebody has composed "Blessed as the door" on the board, alongside an advance notice sign. He ends up being irate and requests to understand what the understudies are stowing away. Nonetheless, they will not reply, and one of them even taunts him. This makes him so furious that he stomps out of the class to smoke a cigarette. Alenka follows him and asks him to return, but he yells at her that he won't teach a quest that tells lies and keeps things from him. He also talks about why he's leaving the job. Hearing this, Alenka turns out to be upset to such an extent that she takes steps to remove her own life prior to running from that point. Frightened, Andrea madly looks for her to ensure she's okay. Alenka opens up to him about the death of her father when he finds her in the school theater, when she was just 3 years old. She describes the lessons she learned from her father and the time she spent with him. Alenka, on the other hand, felt like an outsider because of her intelligence after this. She plays the role of everyone else. She still feels trapped, though, among doll-playing girls. When Andre hears all of this, he gets emotional and says he will help her in every way he can. That same evening, Andrea has a dream in which Senechka takes him to a morgue to show him a vandalized body. The following day he sees a psychiatrist about his nightmares at a mental institution. He sees Lanka there, and is uneasy around her. Andrea is given antidepressants and sleeping pills after the doctor says he has a nerve disorder. Andrea discovers that Lanka is absent from school due to illness the following day. As a result, he decides to visit her. Upon appearance, Anna invites him and illuminates him that Lanka accompanied her grandmother on a trip. Furthermore, thus, she mentioned for wiped out leave. Andre uses this opportunity to talk to Anna about the strange behavior of Elena. After that, he goes into the girl's room and is surprised to find that she doesn't have any toys. He then gets ready to leave. However, Anna is making sexual advances on him. At first, Andrea dithers and pushes her away. Be that as it may, he can't avoid the enticement and in the end makes out with her. Elena doesn't react when she sees Andrea sneak out of her house that night. The day after that, Lona plans to reveal the secret to Andre at the school's horse riding competition. However, when Alenka's group learns about it, they threaten her not to. Alenka strangely pats her horse when Lona doesn't follow her orders, which causes Lana to fall from the horse and sustain a severe head injury. It is finally revealed at this point that Elena manipulates human lives rather than playing with toys. Inevitably, Andrea takes Fat Lana to the medical clinic where the specialists illuminate him that she should rest for quite some time because of the blackout. Andrea returns to the school hours later and discovers his daughter seated next to So he tells her to return to her previous seat. Andre responds to the students' inquiries regarding Fena despite his confusion and rage. At the point when Elena communicated his anxiety, he blows his top and requests to understand what she is stowing away. Alenka responds by taking Andrea outside of the classroom and making the suggestion that they start a family so that they can live happily together. Alenka reveals that she is aware of his affair with Anna and threatens to reveal it to his family and when Andrea declines the offer. That same evening, Andre's house mysteriously burns down and is damaged. Tamara tries to persuade Andrea to stay by promising to fix his house, but he is determined to. The following day, Andrea submits his resignation letter to the principal. Tamara, on the other hand, tears up his letter and tells him he can't leave during school. After a year, Lanka calls and threatens to tell Lyra about his affair. When he found out that his daughter was out with Lanka, he panicked Andrea. He therefore sets out to find her. He does find her after searching for a while. Unfortunately, however, Lanka's manipulated dog attacks Nastenka. Andrea takes her to the hospital, where he has a mental breakdown after being devastated. He can't grasp the reason why this is occurring to him. Just then, Lanka calls him once more and tells him to meet her at a former school. She makes her love for him public and asks him to join her family there. Andrea, however, declines, as expected. Alenka starts yelling at the top of her lungs that she is being harassed because she is enraged. In the following scene, poor Andre is arrested in light of the fact that nobody accepts that he is honest. In the meantime, Elena goes to his loft to establish proof of his undertaking with her mom. After getting out of jail on bail, Andre Rush went to his house, where he found photos of Anna that showed their inappropriate relationship. Andrea feels hopeless and devastated by the situation. Sarosa, his driver, arrives shortly and urges him to admit his illicit affair to Lyra. Then, Seryosa drives off in his car. Andrea also learns the terrible news that Seryosa died in a terrible accident after some time. Andrea finally decides to tell his wife about his infidelity while he is writing her a note, overwhelmed by the tragedy. The power goes out. He then finds himself in a forest with his hands tied to a tree. The next thing he knows, Lanka's there, and she informs him concerning her experience with a craftsman who she and her mom became captivated by. In any case, the craftsman would have rather not remained with them for all time. This maddened Alenka, and she caused him to go too far. Major areas of strength for with pills gained with the assistance of Sonechka prior to unloading him in the lake. Sonechka took her own life a few weeks later when she began to blame herself for the man's death. Subsequent to wrapping up her story, Elena uncovers that she has made Sonefu's mom, Julia, consider Andre to be liable for her demise. All of a sudden, the furious lady shows up in the forest with a clinical unit. She desires vengeance for her daughter's death with fervor. Elenko begins her manipulation once more and directs Julia to cut Andre's spine open to cause him pain. The woman also commits suicide when she does as asked. The scene then slices to the start of the film when the coroner analyzes Andre's body. He then, at that point, goes to inspect Julia's body at the crime location. Lanka is additionally present there, and she furiously views at the coroner as though he will be her next target. Turn on notifications, please subscribe for more videos like this, and like the channel to support it. Thank you very much for watching.